This is a special report from ABC News Digital.
Hello, I'm Ty Hernandez in New York with an ABC News Digital special report on the arrest of pop star Justin Bieber. Here's the mugshot, folks, released just a short time ago. A smiling mugshot, if you will. Bieber is accused of drag racing in Miami this morning while under the influence. Smiling for the picture, but the young star is in serious trouble. Bieber was transported to the Miami-Dade County Jail a short time ago. He's expected to be bailed out shortly. The singer, ABC's Karen Travers, joins us now from Washington with more on this developing story. The singer in some hot water, yet he's smiling for that mugshot. Hello, Karen.
Good afternoon, Ty. Hot water, but that mugshot is amazing, and it is blowing up the internet right now. You can't go on Twitter and not see that photo. And this is a very big day for the millions of Beliebers. That's what the fans of Justin Bieber have nicknamed themselves, and it's been a rocky couple of weeks. You had the felony search warrant at Justin Bieber's home in California last week. You now have pictures of him partying it up at a strip club in South Florida, and of course today's arrest. And Ty, many are wondering, is this a one-time thing or part of a larger meltdown?
The Biebs got busted. 19-year-old pop sensation Justin Bieber was arrested at 4:11 this morning in Miami Beach. Police said he was drag racing in a rented yellow Lamborghini. He failed a field sobriety test and was booked for driving under the influence, resisting arrest without violence, and having an expired license.
He did acknowledge that he did take a prescription medication, and that he had been smoking marijuana and that he did consume a beer.
Today's incident is just the latest in a growing list of legal woes for the Canadian superstar. He's accused of throwing eggs at his neighbor's house earlier this month.
I see you.
TMZ said the incident was captured on this cell phone video.
I got another one for you, actually. Yeah, come right over here, you call the cops.
The egg damage was estimated at roughly $20,000. Last week, authorities arrived at Bieber's home while he was there,
cops in and out of the house,
serving a felony search warrant. They were looking for security camera footage and eggs, but they found drugs. That led to a felony narcotics charge for one of Bieber's buddies. The baby singer has become something of a bad boy, speeding, run-ins with his neighbors, and this bizarre incident with a picture of Bill Clinton. But he's insisted he's misunderstood.
There's a lot of lies being put out there.
Justin Bieber could be facing 6 months in jail, but it is more likely he'll be placed on probation as a first-time offender. Ty?
All right, Karen Travers in Washington, D.C. Thanks for that report. And there's so many more questions about this story, so we're going to bring in ABC's entertainment editor, Leslie Messer, along with celebrity branding expert Peter Shankman. Leslie, let's start with you. And this question, is Justin Bieber the new Lindsay Lohan?
Justin Bieber is a man who has never heard the word no. He has so much money. He has women throwing themselves at him, and everyone around him is allowing it to happen. So I don't think he is necessarily going to take the same path as Lindsay. Lindsay's parents were having their own issues, and there were a number of other troubles surrounding her. But they are of the same category of being young, very famous, and very, very wealthy.
Very wealthy and, you know, hitting a point in their career where maybe they weren't getting the attention that they used to.
Yeah, I would correct one thing. He's a young boy who has never had
a man-child.
Exactly,
19
a
years
man-child.
old.
Other words I'd call him, which I was told I wasn't allowed to use it. The thing about him, you know, he hasn't been doing well album-wise. I mean, he's still selling. He's selling out concerts, but a lot of it is for the spectacle that he's become, not so much for his musical talents. His original hits are 3 years old, 4 years old by now. So he's been staying in the news, but not in a good way. Agreeing with Leslie, he doesn't have someone to say no. He doesn't have an entourage to say, you know what, maybe you should pull back a little bit. Sadly, I don't think this is the stopping point for him. It's usually not. In celebrity cases, it's usually going to take a while longer, a couple more things, a couple more jail trips. Look at Paris Hilton, look at Lindsay Lohan. He has the potential to turn around, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
You know, call me a skeptic, but he admitted to police right after the arrest that he'd had beer, prescription drugs, you know, a number of things. He's driving around in a bright yellow Lamborghini. He's smiling for his mugshot. Does he want to be a bad boy? Is this on purpose for, you know, for the purpose of making the next step in his career from child singer to, I don't know, something a little rougher and tougher?
Justin loves attention. He likes to He likes it on his own terms, though. He is very active on social media. He has Instagram photos, thousands of them. And, you know, I think he wants people to see how wealthy he is, to see all of his famous friends, to see all the fun that they're having, but he doesn't necessarily want it without, you know, without his own spin on it.
Here's the issue
Look,
with
he
that.
wants out of the tween market.
Well, he wants
doesn't
out of the tween market, but here's the problem. You know, you have albums that sell, and albums pay some of the bills. But if you look at any celebrity that's actually doing very well and not in this predicament, the majority of their money comes, look at Beyonce. Her money comes from endorsements, $100 million with Pepsi, you know, things like that. No one's going to touch this kid today. You know, this is a Charlie Sheen situation without the backer of Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen had 25 years on him where he had these relationships. Then he went crazy. Then he came back, and it was very easy for him to come back. Justin Bieber has none of that. You think that AT&T or that Verizon or anyone is going to say, okay, well, we'll take a chance on him in a $30 million ad campaign. Right now, not a chance. So if his managers are smart and they want to get paid down the road, they're going to sit him down and going to say, dude, seriously, time to stop being this kind of kid that you are. You know, smack him around a little bit and say, you got to get better. You got to improve. I don't think he needs to go to rehab. I think he needs a parental figure. Obviously not his parents. They're not doing a great job. But some sort of parental figure to say, okay, seriously, you're done. Take some time out. Go sit in the corner. You know, come back in 6 months. We need you to be an adult. And look, the kid has some talent. He has the ability to resurrect a career. But along this route, all we're doing now is we're TMZing him. And we're putting him into that zone where we're only following the mistakes he's making. And no one can remember his songs. So if he wants to fix this and he wants to continue making money well into his later years, you know, when he, I don't know, maybe turns 21, you know, he's going to have to start sitting down and say, okay, we need to chill for a bit.
Yeah, you know, good point, because a lot of the big money, as you say, it doesn't necessarily come from that tabloid coverage. You want sort of more serious
Twitter
corporate
doesn't pay
endorsements.
your
No, Twitter is free, folks. But let's talk about the legal trouble here, because he's 19 years old. Miami is a no-tolerance city. Right. Florida, no-tolerance state. How much trouble could he be in?
He could be in a lot of trouble, and some people are even questioning whether or not he could be deported. He's Canadian, you know, living in Los Angeles. So there has been some conversation over whether or not he'll be allowed to stay in the country. I think he will. But this is not a joke. This is not only is he in trouble for the egg throwing incident with his neighbors, which some people are laughing off as, okay, this is child's play. This is someone who is driving under the influence and drag racing in Miami, putting not only himself and his friend at risk, but putting others at risk as well. And so that is a very serious thing. And this is something that he'll be taken, you know, he'll be going to court and dealing with on his own terms. But also, to your point, this is adding work for his entire team, who has to revamp his image of maybe someone who's getting into, you know, semantics here or there. But DUI is a separate thing.
There's trouble and then there's trouble. And he's just about to cross that line. A couple of things about Florida. They do have, he's not going to go to jail for this. He will get off. They have a program he's a first-time offender. So a 6-month program, he has to swear off drugs and alcohol and everything. He's not going to go to jail, per se. But he is here on a visa, what they call an exceptional talent visa. People with exceptional talent in science, the arts, mathematics. I don't quite know exactly what that exceptional talent is, but he apparently managed to get his visa. They could pull that. Now, are they going to do that? Probably not. You know, if we didn't do it with Celine Dion or you know, anyone like that, we're probably not going to do it with him, Bryan Adams. But, you know, the question does remain, there are people getting pretty sick of his antics, and especially when you're drag racing in Florida, which is a place predominantly known for older people who don't necessarily get out of the way of cars that quickly.
Right.
You know, they have
Even if
very
they're just
little.
going 50, 60
exactly,
miles an hour. I mean,
exactly.
he wasn't going that fast, but
you know,
still.
they are a no-tolerance state exactly for that reason, because countless people have been killed from drag racing and from.
It's not a joke.
It's not. This is egging the house. Whatever, that affected one other person. This could have had really bad turns. Look at what happened just a few weeks ago in the Fast and the Furious star. So this is not something to joke around. He's going to get a very stern. He's not going to go to jail, but he's going to get a very stern talking.
Yeah, I don't know how egging the house became a felony warrant for egging a house, but this is definitely, you get it. It's much more serious. And he'd had some trouble with his bodyguards in Miami. I mean, this is sort of a building bad publicity campaign.
Well, and as we talked about earlier, it seems that there are always people willing, not necessarily to cover for him, but there are people who end up becoming the focus of criminal problems other than Justin Bieber. So even more recently, when police raided his house looking for evidence in the egg throwing incident, his friend was arrested for drug possession. Now, that wasn't necessarily Justin Bieber's problem per se.
Necessarily.
But this is right. It's in his house.
It's in the house.
This is, you know, these are who knows what's going on in the people with whom he surrounds himself. It speaks to the bigger issue of the fact that this is someone who has nobody necessarily taking the reins to say, this is the right way you should do things, this is how to stay out of trouble.
It's very true. I mean, he does have, and again, that's going to stop because at some point, someone's going to step in. It's probably going to be a manager. It's going to be someone who's realizing this is impacting the financial future of not only him, but his entourage, which is currently probably, if I had to guess, 75 to 100 people in terms of his employ. You know, and as soon as that stops happening and the money stops flowing, he's going to get that talking to.
All right, you know, this is someone there who's famous at 16, millionaire at 16. How do you convince, I mean, these kids really think they know it all. They've come very far in a very short amount of time. How do you convince them? It seems so hard.
Right. I think in some cases you can't.
Right.
You know, think about when you were 19. When I was 19, people weren't having a very easy time telling me what I should and shouldn't do. You know?
And you were probably making minimum wage. You know, it's like, I'm a rock star. I'm world famous. Don't tell me what to do.
Exactly. I think there's going to be a moment, and I don't know if it's going to be because, as you said, maybe Scooter Braun, his manager, will say something and get through to him. Someone who's known him forever. Maybe it'll be his parent. Who knows? But there will come a light bulb moment, I hope, for him, because I do think at the end of the day, he's kind of acting like a punk who's acting out. I don't think this is necessarily indicative of who he is as a person so much as he's just incredibly immature.
He's a kid who needs some help too. I mean, it would be even funnier if there wasn't a hint of sadness to this as well. He's a 19-year-old kid who can get whatever he wants, and you know, much like Violet Beauregard in
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka, thank you. You know, I want it now, Daddy. Well, here's the payment for that. Also, there's one other factor. This is the Michael Jackson factor. They call this the Michael Jackson factor in celebrity and branding, in the respect that Michael Jackson, regardless of what he did, okay, was beloved by millions. And when you have an audience of millions, and when I say millions, I mean millions of people who actually are decision makers, not 15-year-old screaming girls, people who grew up with Michael Jackson's albums, they stood by him. You know, and they said, well, you know, maybe he's a great singer. And there was actual mourning when this guy died. Justin Bieber has an audience of 15-year-old girls who really don't have that much control over the way things work in the world. And there was a very large percentage of this population that's getting pretty sick of his antics. And they say, oh, you know, again, why isn't he deported? I said, I posted on my Facebook page, I'm going to talk about Justin Bieber. They said, why is he still in this country? Was the overwhelming answer. And these are people who are just over it. They're like, they don't want to see someone, you have all this money, you know, you have all this fame, you can do whatever you want, and you choose to drag race at 4 in the morning. Dude, wake up.
Yeah. All right.
Or go to sleep.
Or go to sleep for a while.
Take a nap, take a break. Right. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Leslie Messer and Peter Shankman. Always interesting to talk about the Biebs. You've been watching at 8.